Okay, so if David's a new guy, we're going to have to check his gear out first before we let him ride on the hill. So first we could check his board real quick, make sure everything's good, all the nuts are tight on it, nothing's loose, the board is in good condition, no major cracks throughout the board at all, nothing that would fail on him while he's riding down the hill. So his board checks out well. Now for his safety equipment, he's got his helmet, which is mandatory. You can't go down a hill without a helmet. And the gloves, these are optional equipment, but they're still very important. They're great to have. And if you're going to be like sliding or something like that, you need to have these. Alright, and he's got his knee pads on, I believe. That's another thing, optional. But if you're going to be like sliding or high speeds, knee pads are very recommended. And then shoes. He's got some good shoes, no open toes, they're in good condition. And I think he's ready to go. Great. Alright, so check the board, check all the nuts and all the bolts on there. Like on the wheel nuts, make sure they're all real tight, nothing's loose. Same with the kingpin on the truck. That thing's going to be nice and tight, it's not going to be flopping around everywhere. It's okay if it's loose a little bit to let it turn, but it can't be falling off obviously. And the nuts that hold the trucks onto the board, actually, those have to be good and tight. If they're loose at all, the truck's going to wobble around, it could be safe or it could be unsafe. And so now, go on to, and the bearings also for the wheels, got to make sure they spin well. Nothing's like sounding real bad. Bearings are good and lubed, they're real clean. These ones sound great. And the board itself, make sure there's no cracks throughout the board, no delamming for the plies. Everything on this board checks out well. Okay, so here's the hill we're going to be riding today. Before we ride it, we always want to make sure to check it out, make sure everything is safe and good before we even get on the hill, start riding. For instance, right now, we'll make sure there's no obstacles, there are no cars parked on this side, there are no construction or anything like that going on. It's all clear, there's no gravel, no dirt or anything. So right now it's really clear. Another thing that makes this a good hill is that it's nice and long. You can see through both sides, so if any cars are coming, you can easily see them a long ways off. And it's also another good thing about it, low traffic. As long as you're not here during like after work or before work or something like that, very little cars come by here, so it's really great for riding.
The way we'd be teaching them is having one of the officers of the club who are more experienced, and they'd be there at all times until they pass a certain safety level that we think they can ride on their own. And so at all times the officer would be there to watch for cars, to teach them the new things that you have to do in order to start riding by yourself.
Okay, so now we're going to kind of demonstrate carving. This is just going to be a basic thing. Carving is just a basic way of maintaining or lowering your speed as you're going down a hill. It can also be a lot of fun. And it's one of the first things to learn whenever you're skating. You want to make sure that you can carve, because carving will lead into turning and all of that. If you don't know how to carve, you can't skate very well. So we're going to teach you how to do that. Alright, if carving is not able to maintain your speed or slow you down enough, there are other ways of slowing you down. The main of which is foot braking. And this is easy. It's just taking one foot off your board, putting it on the ground, and sliding your foot on the ground until you slow down or stop. The other more advanced way of stopping is to slide. This is done by breaking your truck, the traction of your wheels loose, sliding it sideways until you slow down or stop.
And to do that you need gloves, the safety slide pucks that we have.
Alright, whenever we're riding in groups, it's also good to, whenever you're not riding on the hill, be sure to watch out for any cars or anybody that is on the hill. And if you do see one, there's always one thing you call out, and that's car. You yell out car, anybody else that's standing on the side of the hill yells out car, and anybody who's riding on the hill, they hear that and they're able to stop or slow down or avoid the car if they need to. It's also, whenever you're riding in groups with more than one person on the hill at the same time, it's always good to give each other room so that if you need to foot brake or slide or anything like that, they have room to do it and so they're not crashing into each other. Now there might be times when the rider does not have a clear view of the whole road, and when that happens you need a spotter. A spotter will spot out blind corners, parts of the road that the rider cannot see himself, so that he cannot check if any cars are coming. And when this happens, there's one way to do it. The rider stands up at the hill ready to ride, and when he's ready, he calls out, "Clear." And he waits, and the spotter, when he hears that, he checks, looks up and down the hill, listens for cars, and when he's sure it's clear, he yells back, "Clear." When the rider hears that, he's able to ride. If he does not hear that, he waits. And he does not ride until he hears "Clear."